identified one player from Hoho United, that's Afiano, their captain. But all of these players are not part of the squad. And he's very disappointed. He says he's very, very, very disappointed. Well, keep your calls coming, 0542571061. But we'll get into that Black Galaxy squad in a bit. Good morning to your name and where you're calling us from.
Good morning, sir.
Right, let's hear you.
I'm calling from Ashawa.
Sure.
It's like 5 days to show this morning because the speaking about the Mohamed Salah's issue, actually, no player is bigger than the club. No player is bigger than the club. And I think Mohamed Salah's partisan. But I just guess that there's something happening behind the scene that they haven't told us yet. But Mohamed Salah coming out to the press to say this kind of thing, I do expect a player like him to come out to the press and say that should have settled this out with the coach or even the people at the top in that Liverpool team. He's not the first Liverpool legend. He's not the second, and he won't be the last. He's just one among them. So I don't see any reason for him to say, I feel like someone don't want me in this class. If you feel like who don't want you, the coach is doing everything possible to keep his job and to make everything work for him. If you're not working for him, he has every right to keep you on the bench. I mean, that's why he's the coach. He's meant to take decisions for the club. So I don't see any reason for people to say, okay, but the Salah's comment on Mohamed Salah, he said he was seen as a failure in Chelsea, but Salah just played 13 games and scored 2 goals. So you won't judge him with that stuff now. Then at AS Roma he did himself as he went to Barcelona, and at AS Roma he did himself and came back to Liverpool. I mean, he has done well for Liverpool, but I guess it's time for him to leave. And he has done well, but he shouldn't come and be causing problem for the Liverpool, other people in the Liverpool. So it's time for him to leave. He should just leave. As for Chelsea, I do have to say Chelsea, I think after beating Barcelona, then they have gone. After beating Barcelona, they never win any match. And so, long may it continue. Thank you, boss.
Thank you very much for joining us on the show this morning. 0542571061 or 030-279-4805. 030-279-4805 or 0542571061. Call us, share your thoughts with us. Champions League action. You want to talk about the World Cup draw. You want to talk about Mohamed Salah and his challenges at Liverpool. You want to talk about the Black Galaxy squad that Kassim Mingle has announced to face South Africa ahead of AFCON 2025. Just give us a call. Let's talk. Let's hear what you have to say. Share your thoughts with us. This is Sporty Breakfast, and we are live on Sporty 106.1 FM in Accra, 102.5 in Takoradi, and 91.3 in Kumasi. Zero 0542571061 0302794805. Let me get back onto the lines. Good morning to you. Your name and where you're calling us from?
Yeah, Ray. Good morning to you. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Hi, yourself?
Yeah, I'm okay. My name is Charles. I'm calling from Showroom Estate.
Great, Charles. Let's hear you.
So, I want to talk about King Mo. You see, King Mo has earned the right to really misbehave, if one say. He has earned that right to misbehave. He's the star. He's a superstar. He has done a lot for Liverpool. Fine, I agree with a lot of people that maybe he shouldn't have come out publicly. He should have found a better way of dealing with the issue internally instead of being granted that interview. Yeah, so that one, I mean, he didn't try. We have to say, at least you need to protect the club you are playing for. So, but then again, I feel like slots. I mean, you don't bench a player like Salah. It's not acceptable. No matter, fine, he's so much stick a bit, but you don't. Even if you bench him, he should be coming off, from the bench maybe 68 minutes. But you completely benching him for the entire match is unacceptable. So slot must go. And then quickly on the World Cup draw. I think for instance, our group, I think it's an okay group. We manage to get 4 points. We should be fine. I believe we should be able to get at least 4 points from that group. So, fingers crossed. Let's see how it goes. Have a nice day, boss.
Have a nice day, Michael. Charles, right?
No, it's Charles.
Yeah, Charles. Have a nice day, Charles. Thanks for joining us on the show. 0542571061, 0542571061, 030279480 Good morning to you. Your name and where are you calling us from?
Good morning. My name is Ahmed, calling from Ajin Kotoku.
Ahmed, let's hear you.
Yes, sir. Akere.
Yes, sir.
I hope everything is fine.
By God's grace, everything is fine. Yourself?
I want to talk about Jimmy. I'm good. I want to talk about Karaga.
Go ahead.
Karaga is always a racist. I remember when they were talking about African Cup, the way he denigrated African Cup and the players who are coming. They kept quiet. He's now complaining about Salah. What did he win at Liverpool? And that grants him right to be talking about everybody. So if he has nothing to say, he should just shut up. Thank you very much.
Ahmed. Thank you very much, Ahmed, for joining us on the show. Ahmed is not happy about Karaga at all. He's not happy with Karaga's comments. He said, what did he win at Liverpool? Yeah, the job is hard, the job is hard. When you're a pundit and you say things, they'll bash you. When you say the good things, nobody will talk about it. When you say one bad thing, they'll finish you. Well, 0542571061. And Karaga is not Africa's favorite. Well, for Liverpool fans, they'll tell you, well, they have to support their club, they have to back the team, they have to support Liverpool and not support players. And that's how it is. You know, when Gary Neville and the likes, Paul Scholes and co were bashing Man United players for not performing, bashing coaches for not performing. Well, it's like that. I mean, the EPL, has its own, drama. We like it, and that's why it's the best league in the world. It serves us a bit of everything. Mo Salah, nobody really hears him talk, but Mo Salah backed once, and everybody's talking. Well, let me take my last two calls, 0542571061. Good morning to you. Your name and where are you calling us from?
Good morning, Mr. Ray.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, this is Nana. I'm calling from Mataiko.
Nana, let's hear you.
Okay, so scenario, simple issues. You see, I always tell my friends and my colleagues from JCR, if you want to argue, take your time. What is the issue? What is the issue at stake now? Scenario, the Liverpool issue, the Mo Salah issue. I want you to tell me what exactly the issue is.
So, Mo Salah, in Liverpool's last 3 games, has been on the bench. Mo Salah on any day feels he should be starting games for Liverpool. Mo Salah feels that, look, when times are hard for some of your best players, you still stand by them. You give them the opportunity to recover and deliver, what you know them to be delivering. Mo Salah feels that he's been thrown under the bus. Mo Salah feels that somebody at the club wants him out and is not happy. That warranted his outburst the last time out, and I mean, since then it's been chaotic after that interview.
Yes. So very well. Let's look at the situation. Let's look at what you just explained to me. Let's look at it one by one because there are lots of things that you said. You understand? So the first part, let's look at Mo Salah saying that he has been benched and he's not happy. Of course, he's a good player. He's a great player. He should not be happy for being benched. You understand? So that is fair. You shouldn't be happy for being on the bench. As a Liverpool fan, I'm not happy that Mo Salah is on the bench. You understand? Yeah. But as a senior, I see Mo Salah as even the face of the team. Isn't it? Is Mo Salah not the face of Liverpool?
No,
Mo Salah is the highest paid. Yes, Mo Salah is the highest paid player at Liverpool now. Mo Salah is adored. You can never tell me that Liverpool fans don't like Mo Salah. I remember when even Mane was leaving. What was being said by most of these African journalists was that they prefer Mo Salah more than Mane. Is it not true? It came out as if like Liverpool prefer Mo Salah and they treat him differently from Mane. Even when in situations where it's just in games where Mane is supposed to pass to Salah. For me, I think these are grown-ups. You are grown-ups, and it's football. You should not even be friends, of course, or outside football. But during football, if somebody doesn't pass to you, I don't see why you don't find like right place for you to discuss this. Even if you don't discuss this football, you can go to any other team. Mani went to Bayern, and then there was altercation between him and I think one player. It's football. So Mo Salah, yes, the first part, like I'm saying, I support him 100%. He's not supposed to be happy. But after a game that Liverpool is struggling, and the game even feels like a loss for me as a Liverpool fan. That 2-2 against Leeds. I'm not expecting Mo Salah to be granting an interview and be saying all these things. If Mo Salah says that Liverpool has thrown him under the bus, he's rather being unfair to Liverpool. You see, there are some situations here. The coach himself is under. It's not like the coach is going to be there forever. If the coach doesn't perform, I want Slot to be sacked. And if he doesn't perform, Liverpool will sack him. You understand? You are even going to AFCON. It's like, I think after Brighton game, he will be leaving for AFCON. He will join Egypt. You are even leaving for AFCON. As a senior player, if it was Curtis Jones or Kwanzaa who did this, I would just say that he's a novice, so he doesn't understand. But as a senior player, I'm not expecting you to go, especially in this crisis that we are in. You are part of the leadership. You, Alisson, Van Dijk, Robertson, you are part of the leadership. So whatever you say out there has its consequences. And listen, the way we as like normal fans are approaching this is also wrong. I think somebody said that Mo Salah has earned the right to misbehave. What is misbehavior? This is a strong. This is why Kotoko and Hart are not going anywhere. These are strong institutions where they are built on rules. You understand? And standards. And yes, I'm when you're from my own because we are now for we are Chelsea fan. If they were behaving this like how Kotoko Hart in the other way, and when you're from my own Sporty. You cannot do this thing at Real Madrid. Why should it be done at Liverpool? You see, the bigger picture is Liverpool. Mo Salah, nobody can tell me Mo Salah is not adored by the fans. Scenario. Can you tell me Liverpool fans don't like Mo Salah?
Oh, Liverpool fans, they love him. Absolutely, they love
him. Even when, like, you see, Mo Salah, I've spent most of my time on Twitter defending Mo Salah against even these fans, these now new fans who think they like Mo Salah more than us. When they are saying that he doesn't perform, his touches are bad, is this, we still support him. And I'm not saying that he is wrong, but all I'm saying is the approach is not right, especially as a leader, as a captain of Egypt.
Right.
If it was a national team, I'm not expecting him to be doing this as a captain. You understand? And I was even supporting that Mo Salah was supposed to be the second captain when not Trent. I was supporting that they should have given it to Mo Salah, but from what he is doing, I don't think this is a leader, like good for a leader. Robertson is also a leader. He has not been playing for a long time, isn't it? As Scenario.
Yeah.
Robertson, he has not been playing for like about 8 games. He has not started. No. Okay, we will talk that he's not the face of the team and all that. I understand the profiles are different, but at least some of them are not happy there. Most of the players who are not playing, it's not like they are happy. But as an organization, we are part. Scenario, we are all working for companies. If you are not happy at Sporty, I'm not expecting you to be on Twitter and be ranting everywhere. You know the proper channels. Exactly. You know where to pass. You know where to go and say. And this is where I'm very disappointed, because for me, I think the number one person who has that access at Liverpool is Mo Salah. You can never. This is their asset too.
Yeah.
I mean, I think there are some places where some players will not go. Mo Salah will have access if he wants to meet anybody. If he wants to meet the director or anybody, Mo Salah can even meet the owners. To me, that's how I see it. Mo Salah is an icon of Liverpool. He is worshipped because of him. You see, these scouters, they were not really, I don't want to say anti-Muslim, but because of Mo Salah and money, you see some of these stances on even the religion has toned down.
Well, I think I lost my call out there. Let me pick my final call, 0542 571061. I lost my call out there. Apologies. And I'll pick my final call, and then we'll zoom straight into our discussions. Good morning to you, and even where you're calling us from.
Good morning, Mr. Nyamador.
Morning.
This is Raymond from Casa.
Right, let's hear you.
Yeah. So I want to share my thoughts on the Mohamed Salah situation. Well, I think, honestly speaking, I think both sides are not wrong, depending on how you are seeing things. And for Salah to come with a pressure. I think he's trying to gain a public sympathy, and I mean that's affected because he's human after all. You understand? But when you look at the proceedings at Liverpool, and you see, it's more of a collective problem than Mohamed Salah situation. Do you know why I'm saying this?
No, talk to me. Tell me.
Because when Liverpool were on the ascendancy, when Jurgen Klopp was putting this red army, we realized that he was tackling the situation one after the other. So first of all, he sorted out his attack. Then he realized he was conceding. So he then brought in Alisson Becker, then Virgil van Dijk. You see, they were big money signings to come and seal the back.
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand? Mm-hmm. But looking at how Slot is going about the whole situation, you see, the players are led. What you are not seeing is that the players are led. They were crucial first team members, but they were not always starting games. When you take Darwin Núñez, for instance, though he was an integral part of the Liverpool squad, but he was not starting all games. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Diogo Jota of blessed memories wasn't starting all the games. Do you get me?
Yeah.
Luis Diaz was a bit of a constant in their first 11, but he was in some games you see they will bench him, then they will play Koregapo. But then these players are gone, and now they've brought in three new attackers in Vert,
Ekitike,
and then
Isaac.
You see, when you look at the transfer fee that these players commanded, you see, that's the problem. That's the problem here, because he's being forced to mount up a strategy to accommodate all three of them. You get me? That's the problem. So if you look at even their laterals, Liverpool was a team that was built, strongly with their laterals, their right back, their left back, their right wing forward, left wing forward. But look at their right side. Right now, Trent is gone. So he brought in Frimpong to kind of fit in.
Mm-hmm.
But Raymond is not doing the job that Trent Alexander-Arnold was giving him. And we all knew the combo between Trent Alexander-Arnold and then Mohamed Salah. And then we also know the combo between Andrew Robertson and then Luis Diaz. Salah upon all his numbers, Darwin Núñez upon all his numbers. The past seasons, when you look at the number of goals that they wasted, if you missed chances, they were always on top. Do you get me?
Yeah.
So what does it mean? What it means is that Liverpool has lost a bit of creativity. They are not creating enough. Do you get me? They are not creating enough. So we should sit down and then look into all these things. It's not just about the Mohamed Salah problem. It's a collective problem that they have to look into it. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for sharing your thoughts with us on the show this morning. I think we'll just end the calls here. Yes, I'll just end the calling segment for now, and then we'll get into the discussions. We'll quickly start. Let's start off from the camp of the Black Galaxies, because so one call just came through. Let me pick that. Good morning to your name and where you're calling us from.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Morning to you. Your name and where you're calling us from.
Good morning, Ray.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, my name is Seth from Pacho.
Sir, let me hear you.
I just want to add my voice to this Mo Salah issue. I think I agree with the last caller. Mo Salah, this is not the first time he's doing that. You remember when Klopp was the coach? There was a time that he came on, I think second half, he had some exchange of words with Klopp. That thing is no good. You see, the point is that you are trying to fight for your position. Yeah, that's fine. We all agree. But then you ask yourself, are you performing? He's not performing. And the coach job is at stake. So he needs to make sure that he's not stuck. That's what he's doing the best for. So whatever he does, I think the best for the club. And then also, he should also be mindful that there are junior ones in a club where all of them are watching, looking at you as a leader. You know, you are part of the big guys in Liverpool. I mean, you are the face of Liverpool. You should stop that and then stop this childish behavior. Thank you.
Right. Thank you very much, Seth, for joining us on the show. And Seth is my final caller. It's 8:10, and this is Sporty 106.1 FM in Accra, 102.5 in Takoradi, and 91.3 in Kumasi. This, as always, is Ghana's #1 sports morning show, Sporty Breakfast. Well, we just handed the microphone to our listeners out there to share their thoughts on some of the issues we'll be discussing on the show today. Definitely, all my callers seem very interested in Mohamed Salah and his woes. Well, Mohamed Salah on any day would feel he's a big boy, he's a big player, and deserves to be starting games. But then again, the coach would also look at his options and see if, at the moment, he has players who would give him what he wants better than what Mohamed Salah offers him. I think that sometimes these are very fair conversations. And maybe Mohamed Salah should have spoken to his coach behind the scenes. Maybe Mohamed Salah shouldn't have gone to the press. Maybe Mohamed Salah should have found a different way to address his issues. But of course, nobody will say Mohamed Salah is wrong. Nobody will say the coach is wrong. Nobody will say the coach is right. Nobody will say Mohamed Salah is right. Well, its opinion remains divided. So you can have your say. Arne Slot would have his way. But let me welcome Michael Asaribudu. Michael Asaribudu has joined us from Sporty 91.3 FM in Kumasi. Michael, good morning to you and welcome.
Good morning, Raymond. Good morning, Raymond.
Good to have you. Good to have you on the show.
Good to have you on the show. Well, it's great to be on the show this morning. A lot to talk about. So let's see what happens. I heard you and the callers engaging regarding the Mo Salah issue.
Yes.
And I've said it previously. I said it on TikTok. I think that almost every party has a case. Salah is right, but how he approached it was not really the best. And Slot is right, how he approached it not really the best. Liverpool as a club will ultimately be the winner at the end of it all, because both Salah and Slot at a point in time will leave a club. But it is about whether this decision leads to a positive development for the club. And from the look of things, it is more about Liverpool looking at the future more than the present. And hopefully they win out of it. I think the ultimate winner will be Liverpool.
Right. That's Michael's initial thoughts on Mohamed Salah. But we'll get into that when we get to the Champions League discussion. We'll go deeper into that. But Michael, yesterday there was communication that the Bafana of South Africa will play Ghana in a friendly match as they prepare for AFCON 2025. And Kasim Mengo, the coach of the Black Galaxies, who will be playing this match as, instead of the Black Stars, because obviously it will be difficult to assemble the full complement of the senior national team, the Black Stars. The Black Galaxies would have to step in as placeholders for the Black Stars. Now, Kasim Mengo dropped a 20-man squad yesterday. And let me quickly run listeners through the squad Kasim Mengo put out. Lawrence Osei, Hearts of Lions. Felix Che, Midiama Essi. They are the goalkeepers. Now, defenders, you have Kamaradini Mahmudu, Midiama Essi, Isaac Afuo, Samatex 1996, Razak Simpson, Nations FC, Ebenezer Aban, Hearts of Lions, Ali Mohammed, Accra Hearts of Folk, Samuel Osei-Kufo, Nations FC, Abdulaziz, Sweden All Blacks. Midfielders, Eche Dogli, Pando Heart of Lions, Nana Kusi Asante, Vision FC, Prince Owusu, Midiama SC, Salim Adams, Midiama SC. You have the forwards, Emmanuel Aban, Bechem United, Kelvin Nkrumah, Midiama SC, Emmanuel Ano, Nations FC, Edmond Mafo, Adriana FC, Rudolph Nana Kwesi Mensah, Sweden All Blacks, Samuel Atakumi, Gold Stars Sporting Club, and Seydou Suraj, Dreams FC. These are the forwards. Now, Michael, you have followed the Ghana Premier League extensively, and you've seen the squad. The squad clearly is the Black Stars B, if I may put that in quote. And these are the best players presently in the Ghana Premier League who really deserve to be part of this Black Galaxy squad?
Well, Raymond, you can make a justification for the 20 players selected, and you can actually be proud in the fact that the coach has selected players he knows and players who are also performing at their respective clubs in the Ghana Premier League. And I say this because the squad has that admixture of players Kassim Mengel has worked with previously at Bechem United and then also at Nations FC. And judging by how imminent this task is, he would need players who really understand him to come to terms with exactly how he expects his team to play. And then again, he's also picked the best of the bunch regarding those who are performing in the Ghana Premier League. So if you are to break it down, for the two goalkeepers, he selected two of the most consistent goalkeepers in the Ghana Premier League in the last 2-3 seasons. Lawrence Osei for Heart of Lions this season has kept the post in all the games they've played in. He's conceded 9 goals. He's kept 8 clean sheets. I don't think the clean sheet will be the best determinant of whether he's on top of his game, but you just have to watch Heart of Lions and how they play, and then you know how crucial Lawrence Osei is to everything that they do with the ball and without the ball. Without the ball, he puts in those wonderful saves to keep his team in games. And then with the ball, he's able to also pass out from the back and then help with the build-up. So I think, yes, he's your typical modern-day goalkeeper who has really settled in after moving from Karela to join them. He's actually made that position his mainstay, and he's not looked back since then. And I think he's been on the ascendancy. And if we are selecting top 3 goalkeepers in the Ghana Premier League, definitely Lawrence Osei would have to feature in there. That aside, you would have to also look at Felix Che. And Che has also been one of the consistent performers. He went off the radar, but I think he's back this season to showcase that he's one of the best local goalkeepers. Last season, it wasn't really one for him when he had the likes of Lawrence Osei, Emmanuel Kobe shoot ahead of him. But I think this season, he's been able to right all the wrongs about his game that made him lose his position to Apia Kubi. But I think he staged a wonderful comeback, and that is the reason why Apia Kubi is no longer at Midiema, and Felix Che has now been given the number 1 position back again. It dates as far back as when Midiema won the league, when they made the Africa Surgeons, and I think it was a crucial player for them in games against Al-Ahly all the way in Egypt. A lot of Ghanaians were exposed to the goalkeeping heroics of Felix Che, and I think he also deserves to be in there in terms of the 2 goalkeepers. So I doubt if anybody will have qualms about the 2 goalkeepers who were selected for this assignment. Then in the defensive position, Kassim Mengel has decided to go for players again who are performing and have been consistent. Kamaruddin Mamadou is arguably a top 3 right back in terms of a GPL contest. And definitely his exploits meant he got a call up into the Black Stars, got the opportunity to play for us in some games. And I think the last game he played for the national side was in the Unity Cup against Nigeria, where he was started in an uncomfortable right wing back role. He did not really perform to expectations, and that was the end of him in the Black Stars. But he is to show that he was consistent enough, and then he impressed enough that he got to that height. And then this last season, he was a top scoring defender in the Ghana Premier League. This season, with 13 games played so far, he ranks in the top 2 scoring defenders in the GPL. He scored 2 goals for Midiama Sporting Club. He's very excellent in terms of defending, and he does same when he's surging forward. And then his involvement in terms of set plays also helps him to be a goal-scoring outlet. Whether he's there, he has an excellent leap. He's not that your typical defender who has height, but whenever there are corner kicks and free kicks, he's an available option because he has an excellent leap and is able to attack the ball from the aerial duel. So clearly, I think he also deserves to be there. Isaac Afo, similar story to Kamaruddin Mamadou. When Samatex were winning the league, he was explosive, and then he got a call up to the Black Star. But he also went off due to injury, and after that lengthy layoff, he's back. In the last 6 games for Samatex, he has featured, and clearly is to show that whenever he is available, he's a sure starter for FC Samatex. Another explosive fullback who gives us more attacking options, and I think one of the best in the league. Razak Simpson, Ebenezer Aban, they play the same role for their respective clubs. They are the leaders Ebenezer Aban leads expertly from the defense and also the entire Heart of Lions team from the back. And it's the same role that Razak Simpson plays. And these are two players who in recent call-ups have been invited into the Black Stars before. Ebenezer Aban was called up during the AFCON qualification phase. The same applies to Razak Simpson. And it's to show that they have been consistent enough. And this season, they have also demonstrated their quality. Ali Mohammed has been a breath of fresh air for Accra folk to a point in time where when he's not available, Folk fans are uneasy. They don't really enjoy it. They like the fact that when he's there, he helps to add to how solid Folk are defensively. And he's found a wonderful partnership between himself and then Kelvin Osei-Sibe. And it is the reason Folk are the best defensive team by virtue of goals conceded in the Ghana Premier League this season. So definitely, he also deserves to be there. And then Abdulaziz, he is cut in the mode of Isaac Affo, but he is more measured in his approach in terms of surging forward. I think he adds or he brings that balance to his game. He can attack when need be, and he can also defend solidly. And then he was one of the players who were excellent for Real Tamale United. In the season they got relegated, he stood firm, did his job. He did not really play much football last season, but he's back to the Premier League and he's demonstrating his quality for Suede Royal Blacks. I think he's been one of the consistent players. And if you are to assess most of the or much of the best 11 at the end of every weekend, you will likely find Abdulaziz in there. Tells you of his consistent performances, and I think he deserves to be there. The only asterisk for me will be Samuel Osei-Kuffour, Nations FC. I think Osei-Kuffour in the last 3 games has not played for them. In the last 7 games for Nations FC, he's missed 5 matches, and they are for various reasons. He signaled to the hierarchy that he would not love to continue playing for the club again. And as such, they are looking for offers for him, and then they will let him depart the club. And so he hasn't been playing that much. So I don't know how come Kassim Mengo decided to select him. But then again, it fits into the earlier narrative I gave that I think he selected players based on 2 options: those who are top performing for their clubs and those Kassim Mengo has knowledge in terms of working with at previous clubs.
Yeah.
He worked with us before at Bechem United. He brought him to Nations FC. So he knows how to use him and he knows how to get the best out of him. And so I think in an assignment like this, he will want to go for players he's more conversant with and then he's okay working with. But I think I would have preferred someone like Sofyan Usman, who plays for Hohoe United. Very consistent player. And arguably, he's been their best player so far this season. He's not just a defender. You look at the role he plays for Hohoe United, and he's their most effective utility player. At a point in time, you see him at the left back. The next phase, you see him at the right back. You see him in central defense, and then in midfield. He's a proper versatile player any coach would need in his team. And what Sofyan Usman does is that he's able to link up play very well between the defense and then also the offense. And so when you have someone like him in your team, when push gets to shove, definitely you can call on him based on his technical profiles and how you can use him to get desired results. But I doubt Kassim Mengo knows him too well. I doubt he's used him and understands how to use him better than he knows for Samuel Osei-Kuffour. But I think Sofyan Usman has done more than enough to warrant a place in here as part of a 20-man squad. The Black Galaxies will be shipping to South Africa to play against the Bafana. And then on top of it, he's a top-scoring defender this season in the GPL. He scored 4 goals, and no other defender has been able to match up to his number. He has 200% more goals than the second-place teams, and I think the second-place players, and I think he should have been here. But to the midfielders, Eche Dogli, ever consistent, and I think he's the heartbeat of the Heart of Lions team. Oftentimes, we hear Ebenezer Aban, we hear Ishmael Ado, but if you are looking for a player who is able to coordinate affairs very well, then it is Eche Dogli. He's a theater conductor for Bashir Hayford's side. He's excellent in terms of snapping at opponents, winning the ball off them, and then breaking the opponent's offensive actions. I think he's a very intelligent defensive midfielder. And with him here, it is very positive. Nana Kusi Asante, one of the brightest spots in the Vision FC team, ever consistent, ever ready to do a job for Vision FC. And I also think he deserves to be here. Prince Owusu, his performances merited a call-up to the senior national football team. And I don't think anybody will raise qualms when he's selected to be part of the Black Galaxies. Salim Adams was offered an olive branch at Midiema and he's grabbed it. He's forced coach Ibrahim Tanko to shuffle his pack in terms of his midfield selection. At the start of the season, it was Emmanuel Owusu, Prince Owusu, Fuzitela, and at a point in time, Manuel Mante will have to be slotted in there. Now, Ibrahim Tanko has decided to go with Salim and Fuzitela mostly as a double pivot, and then he will play Prince Owusu in the central attacking position. So it is because Salim Adams has a certain physical build that makes him ideal for a midfield position. That aside, he also has a certain technical quality that any coach will love to work with. The only thing you need is that make sure he's in the right mood, make sure his attitude is right on the pitch. If you're able to satisfy that, clearly he can do a job for you on the field of play. And then in the forward areas, Emmanuel Laban of Bechem United, ever consistent. But then again, I will select someone like Prince Chenebua of Baseke Holy Stars to be in here. And he's no fluke. Trust me, when the big teams come to town at Ampine in Zema, he's always the go-to guy who delivers a solid performance and then mostly scores the winning goals for them. As of folk last season, Kotoko this season, he's delivered 5 goals for them. He's solely responsible for 40-50% of the goals that Baseke Holy Stars have scored in the Ghana Premier League this season. And I think I would have chosen him in place of Emmanuel Laban. But then it fits into the narrative. Emmanuel Laban of Bechem, Kassim Mingo, formerly of Bechem, maybe he trusts in the technical qualities that Aban has. But I think on the basis of form, I would have selected Prince Chenebua to be in there. Kelvin Nkrumah, no qualms about it. Emmanuel Ano, definitely one of the standout performers in the Ghana Premier League this season. Together with Emmanuel Mafo, the two Emmanuels have been excellent for their respective sides. Ano for Nations FC, Mafo for Adriana, and then Rudolph Jr. and Nana Kwesi Mensah did not really start the season well, but he's actually hit the ground running in the last few games for Swedro All Blacks. And you check the 2 goals he scored last weekend, brilliant. He took the fight to 11 Wonders, and they deserved the result that they got. And it's because he's on fire. Last season, he scored over 20 goals in the Division 1 league. Many expected him to start the season in explosive fashion. It took him some time to adapt, but after rediscovering his form, he's coincided with Swedro Blacks getting consistent results and climbing out of the relegation zone. And I think he deserves to be rewarded for that. Samuel Atakumi, the GPL top scorer, he deserves to be here. Consistent performer. Last season, it was a reason BBN Gold Stars won the league. This season, he's actually put them in there, and he's made sure that Gold Stars will be in a position where they can contend to defend their title. And then Saidi Suraj, a perfect player who has exhibited resilience. He was cast away from Accra as a folk. He's gone to Dreams FC and silently is built something that is solid. 4 goals so far for Dreams FC in a season where they are struggling. I think he's been a lighthouse in terms of how Dreams FC has played and him shining and showing the way. So clearly, I think apart from 2 players, I basically have no qualms regarding the selection that Kassim Mingo did. I think if it was Asare Bodu doing the selection, I would have replaced Samuel Osei-Kuffour with Safian Usman of Hoho United. And then I would have replaced Emmanuel Laban with Prince Chenebua of Baseke Holy Stars. But I think the coach had the opportunity to train with these players, and he felt that after the training sessions, these are the players he trusts that can do a job for them. So I just wish them well.
Now, okay, Kelvin wants to...
Yeah, Michael, I think, yes, maybe we need Safiano from playing deeper, but I think now in Hohoi, Coach Tijani deploys him as the CAM of the team. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, if you are getting Kuffour off for him, it's some way. Maybe another defender for Kuffour.
Okay. So I think if you watch Hoho United this season, he has been used in almost all roles: defense, midfield, and even in advanced midfield. In their first game against Accra, he was playing as a DM. Hoho's first game of the season, he was playing as a DM.
Yes.
At a point in time, I've seen him play as a centre back or a left back for Hoho, especially when they played against Nations FC. So He's your typical utility player, and every national side needs such a player. He has a technical understanding or proficiency to play in defense, to play in midfield, and as you rightly said, to play in offensive midfield. No coach will say no to such a player because you don't know what will happen in the game that you are set to play, and I think you will need him. And for Kofor, for instance, he's a brilliant footballer. I'll take nothing away from him. But his issues with Nations FC, wanting out of the club, means he's not played consistently in 3 games. And I don't think he's sharp enough and ready to play. I believe you get the point. So in terms of profile, Kofor is your typical defender. Yes, no problem. But in terms of form and what the 2 players have done, if you have to compare Kofor to Safiyanu Usman, I will prefer Safiyanu Usman here. Because if you look at the selection, there is no way Kofor goes in there and starts at the expense of Ali Mohammed, Ibn Zaban, and Razak Simpson. So it means he will likely be a bench option. How much better will it be than if you have a bench option who is good enough to play as a left back or as a central defender or as a defensive midfielder or as a central attacking midfielder? And that is why I would have substituted Kofor in this list for Safiyanu Usman. But it is my opinion, clearly. As I said, Kassim Mingo knows Kofor very well, and he knows what he can get from him. So I don't have any problem with that.
Yeah, Michael. Yes, that is pretty fair. And then I think I like the option of Safiyanu. You mean when you remember we had an exercise over the weekend, if you can remember. Exactly. So, Safiyanu wasn't a player I was going to omit from this team if I was the one selecting the team, because for me, if not for anything at all, the midfielders, he must be part of it. I don't know about the defense. We know that Kotoko had their players being put out because of the list of injuries that they have. They are struggling, and on any day, I'm not sure they will be willing to allow any of their boys join the national team because of the current situation of the club. And I think it is pretty much fair for the Asante Kotoko supporters who are thinking that yes, they've called the Black Galaxies and some of their top performing players. It's all because of the number of injuries. Kotoko has an injury list 15. And I'm not sure any team will be happy releasing more players when they are struggling to get in there. I have an issue with Suraj Seidu of Dreams FC being in this team. I don't think, Michael, so that is why for me, if I was taking out any player, Suraj will be off for me, because the kind of work that he may be doing for Dreams FC, Sufyanu can do it and do it twice more than he can offer the team because of his creative ability, his mobility, shooting. I think Sufyanu offers that more. So if I was replacing any other player, there are times your centre backs coaches would always want to have 4, even though this is a one-off friendly game. You would have 3 would have been enough central defense. But I think Kassim Mingle is looking at the option of, if I'm going into more like a tournament with 20 players or 21 players, I need 4 centre backs and one who can also double up when I'm playing in a 3-back system, which Kofor offers that. I don't think Kofor, even with that, maybe we've been talking about Ruben Hennessy and other players. I think they may even rank better than what Kofor offers. But the coach understands Kofor just from Bechem United. He knows him, and exactly. So he would prefer using a player or having a player that he can trust in difficult times in there. I think the squad equally fair and square. Maybe if Kotoko had offered, their players, I would have seen, a number of players who would have been off here. Isaac Affo for me hasn't really peaked, after, his excellent season. I think that if there was anything at all, this team, but maybe they are just looking from the last, Galaxy squad that was assembled, and his experience with also the Black Stars. Echedogli, nobody can say no to that boy. From Banana in the top 4, he was a revelation. And even for the Heart of Lions team, they tell you this gentleman has come and he's pushed away players, and then he's become the mainstay in the team. Nana Kusia Santivision, yes, I think he's an okay midfielder. Prince Owusu from Mediama, yes, Prince Owusu from Mediama AC, equally good player. His experience with the Black. I just think that this is a great opportunity for him to audition again.
Michael, sorry, Kelvin, hold that off for me, because we have the coach of the Black Galaxies, Kassim Mingle Okanse, on the line. Let's speak to him quickly and pick his thoughts on the squad he's actually selected for the game against Bafana of South Africa. Coach Kasim Mingo, good morning to you and welcome to Sporty Breakfast.
Good morning.
Coach, yesterday you put out a 20-man squad for Ghana's friendly against Bafana. Take us through the reason for picking some of the players you picked and why you announced this particular squad with all of these players in there. Just take us through a bit of that.
When I was coaching Nations, so I was monitoring the team that we play with, and I had one or two people who was also been monitoring for me. So when they spotted player, they just called my attention. So I worked the player on some few occasions and see whether I can invite him to assess him. So that's how I used to invite these players to come for assessment, and there were more than that. There were around 30, and I shortlist these 20 from that. That doesn't mean there are some few players who have not got opportunity to come here, but later on when opportunity comes, I invite them to also come and justify themselves.
Now, Coach, looking at the squad you put out, what are you expecting from this team in that upcoming friendly?
I was expecting them to justify themselves and put up a good performances to justify why we chose them to play.
Coach, I lost you a bit. I lost you there a bit.
I said, I'm expecting them to justify themselves and tell the whole Ghana that they are ready to qualify for CHAN or represent the nation in the CHAN tournament. It's an opportunity for them to exhibit their talent, and even some of them get opportunity to enter the senior national team.
Coach, there are concerns about the omission of Kotoko players from the squad. Any special reasons why we are not seeing any Kotoko player in this team?
Oh, last time I explained that. If you don't let me repeat it once and for all. When we started camping, I had about 4 or 5 Kotoko players in my distance. But unfortunately for them, they were playing Sunday, Wednesday, so they couldn't report to camp. And they were having, some of them who got invited were having injuries. So I was communicating with their head coach. We've been communicating always, much after the match that they play, we communicate with. So it got to the point that there's nothing we could do, that we have to exempt them, we excuse them for them to concentrate on their league matches. So that's what happened. And this game to come. Supposing we don't have any assignment here, like after tomorrow's game or today's game, they will be free now and report to camp. But it's a process. Normally, we have to submit names that will travel for visa and other things. So we did it earlier on. So that's why they couldn't be part of the team. We have about 4 or 5 of their players in the squad.
Now, Coach, there are concerns about the goalkeeping department as well. The omission of Benjamin Asari, clearly, many are asking if Benjamin Asari does not qualify to play for the Black Galaxies because he's already playing for the Black Stars. What's the rationale behind him not being part of the team?
He qualifies, but he's already in the senior national team. And we have a lot of local goalkeepers. So we have to tell some of them to give them the chance, because he has already justified himself already. That is our number 1. So there's no way we should call him to come and justify himself at camp. There's no way. The person is a regular goalkeeper at the senior national team, and we invite him to come to the camp to justify himself. It doesn't make sense. So that's why we left him out. But these people to come and justify that. Now, when Asare is not in case we have a game and he's not available, we should the senior national team. And they can also play. They can also get the exposure so that we can rely on them when he's not available.
So this squad that you've put together, would you confidently say that these are currently or presently the best performing players in the Ghana Premier League who clearly should represent Ghana and possibly do us proud in that game against South Africa?
When they give you a list or to select. I think you got about 90-something% of the players we selected in this squad. You get it right because most of them even have gone to the. Kamara has been to the senior side before. Brazil Simpson has been there before. Recently, you have Nkrumah. They have been part of, and they are recently part of them. So, MK too has been there before. You see? So, I don't think it's a bad thing that we presented. But there's a few others that could have joined. But we cannot select all the players at the same time.
Now, Coach,
as time goes on, we before have the team. As time goes on, there are some of them that will later on come and join them for us to assess them.
Right. Coach, finally, the South Africans, have you watched them play? And have you seen how you are going to, have you been able to plot how you are going to deal with their threats come December 16?
I'm now watching their current team so that we have our strategy that we're going to use for the match. So I'm now watching their clips so that we know how to approach them. But we have our own, but we have to watch their clip and see their strength and weakness in the team so that we can also match them equally.
Will the results matter to you in this particular encounter? Will the results matter, or you just want to go into this game and possibly see how your team can react to a position like this? Because this South African team is predominantly dominated by lots of local players, and these are players that you may possibly face at CHAN if you qualify for the championship proper. What do you want to see about this team?
It's two things. We want to go and assess our team and see whether they are ready to qualify for the CHAN. And when you get the result too, and we need to, it's okay, it will boost their morale. But the most important thing is to go and assess the players and give them the exposure too.
Coach, we wish you all the best, and
thank you.
We pray that you have a very successful stint with the Black Galaxies. Thank you very much for joining us on Sporty Breakfast.
Thank you too.
Great. That was head coach of the Black Galaxies, Kasim Mingelo Kante, speaking to us on the team he put out for the friendly game against the Bafana of South Africa, who will be playing a warm-up game against the Black Galaxies before they play in the AFCON Championship in a few weeks' time. Kelvin and Michael are still on the line. Kelvin is here with me, and Michael is on the line. Michael, Kelvin, I think Coach has put to bed all the doubts you had,
yes,
or all the concerns you had about this team. Mm-hmm. Coach has successfully put all of that to bed. Are you satisfied with the response of Coach with regards to the team, who should have been there, who shouldn't have been there, and how long he's been with them to know who should be playing and not? And who shouldn't be?
Well, he's trying to justify it that he had people who monitored for him, and he also monitored himself whilst he was coaching. He still looked at other players because he knew he had the responsibility of picking up the Galaxies, but we just wait to see, because just like I was screening the squad, I have a number of players which I think they should have gotten a place instead of certain other players who are.
But he said it's a work in progress.
Yes,
so
it's
beefing up.
It's a work in progress, but you don't tell us that the current players who should be in there would have to wait for these players to go, because it's a work in progress. If it's a work in progress, the work in progress must be the best available. Must start, this sort of exercise, because this will boost their morale and then keep them in good shape. The answer about Benjamin Asari is not too convincing, but some of us know the situation with Asari now. He's actually recovering from an injury. It's the reason why even in Hartlepool he's not keeping the post. So we just quite understand.
I didn't want to push Coach further, because you have Prince Owusu being part of that Black Stars. Yes. I think he's been one of the most consistent. He's had a couple of call-ups in recent times, and then you also have Kelvin Nkrumah, who's also been part of that squad.
Kelvin got one.
Yes, both of them are in this Black Star squad at the moment. Okay?
Yeah, the Galaxy squad.
So in this Black Galaxy squad, that clearly means that if you play for the Black Stars proper, You are still not exempted.
But Asari is a mainstay and he's Ghana's number one. But these guys are still on the fringes.
Yeah, but again.
Owusu, and then.
But you want to see.
Even Kevin Kuma hasn't kicked the ball for the Black Stars.
I would take the excuse of
injury.
Asari being injured.
Yeah.
But as to whether he should be part of this squad, I think that.
Oh, if he was fit, I'm sure they would have allowed him to go.
If he was fit,
because he needs a lot more.
He should be part of this team. Because this South African opposition, South Africa have equally qualified for the World Cup. And these are the players who will be playing at the World Cup.
But it's also important not to keep these goalkeepers out, because many of us, even on the local scene, let's be blunt and let's be clear. Lawrence Osei and Felix Che have been more consistent. They are more dominant in post. And they are more trusted.
And then we'll bring it.
They are of more quality.
And then we'll bring it.
Agbasi isn't there yet. But if
Agbasi isn't there.
Agbasi isn't there yet. Okay, now, because he's still recovering from injuries. Okay. But let's be clear and let's be blunt. If you watch the Ghana Premier League, and if you look at Lawrence Osei of Heart of Lions, and you look at Felix Che of Mediema, and you look at Benjamin Asari, in the last 3 seasons, let's be sincere, let's be blunt. These two are quality top, shot stoppers. Nothing to take away from Asari. He's earned his place. He took the opportunity well at the Black Stars, and he's Ghana's number one. And he stays there. It's more like the time when Sami Ajay, Jojo, and Richard Kenson were fighting. Richard Kenson wasn't even in the equation. Yeah, it was Sami Ajay and Jojo. Yeah. Many felt that it should have been O in the post. He got injured. At the time he recovered, Sami Ajay had to be in the post for the AFCON. Unfortunately for Sami Ajay, that was when Issa Ahmed went to score their own goal, and then people were like, "Oh, come on, goalkeeper radio, and then Olele went for a friendly game. After that, and then
he excelled.
Thank you. Yeah. That was the time Olele had gone. He had used Farouk Kasoy whatever, and he had made the return. Yeah. And whether fortunately or unfortunately, he picked up the post, and then Sami Ajay had to be relegated to the bench again when we went for the World Cup. It is quite understandable. But these two, I know if Michael is picking up a team, if not Asari having the option of being in the Black Stars now, and you tell him that he should pick goalkeepers on the local scene, you can't mention them and leave these two out. So I understand Kasim. Maybe he wants to prove a point that these guys could have had or should have had the opportunity of being in the Black Stars, but because of the likes of Anan, Asari, and then Atizigi, they cannot get a place in there. So I think it's good enough. Right. Those two should be there. My concern is about a number of players who I think that they should have also, made it into this team. If Salim, I don't think Salim has really had, if the likes of Sana. Sana has had Fuzi Taylor, even at Mediema. No, but I feel Fuzi offers a lot more. I don't know what he's saying. There are times coaches want physical presence too. Fuzi doesn't have that physical presence, but Salim has it. When Salim appears before you, his height and then his physical attributes, offers him that opportunity to bulldoze his way at times through. So if he's looking at maybe Prince Owusu, Echedogli, he needs Salim to that physical presence. And if Kasim Lucas, he wants players like that. Yeah. It's either if you are not too tall, you should be, heavy. Yeah. It's the reason why players like Efri Aqua, Isaac Vosa, Richmond Boachi Adam as a striker, you look at him that time, he quick enough, but he has that height. Yeah. So I think he's always looking at players like that, in his team. And I think it's quite interesting to see. Maybe my only worries are the ones that I have spoken about. If Sufianu had replaced Suraj Seidu in that team, and then just like Michael also mentioned, the likes of Sanai and all these guys are playing very well in the team. But we just hope that in subsequent times they are able to prove their worth and see if they can also get a place in the team. But I think it's a very okay squad. Hopefully they can prove themselves, when they play against South Africa. It's local boys against local boys. This South African team.
Yeah, a lot of them.
Yeah. Yes. So if you go and battle them, it's more like a CAF Champions League, CAF Confederation Cup game between a Ghanaian side and then,
Kelvin, if you look at it like that, then they'll beat us.
They may beat us, but at least you should prove your quality. You should show that strength, and I think that we have a team equally capable of going there. So now you look at this squad, and I'm asking myself, if you had a Ghanaian team that had enough money and he was assembling this kind of team for an African campaign or in the Premier League and playing in Africa, very quality, very quality team. So let's wait and see. I'm very much happy for Rudolph. He's been very consistent. 27 goals from 30 games in Division 1. He came to All Blacks and he started picking up the pieces. You know, I like him. If he leads the attack me just behind him, and the likes on the flanks, I think it's good. Let's see what comes up from this.
Michael, I'm sure you listened to Coach. I'm sure he dealt with all the concerns that anybody would have from the Kotoko, from the side of Kotoko, from the side of Benjamin Asari, and his justification for picking the players he picked. I'm satisfied with the response of Coach. Let's do this quickly, and then we shift to the camp of Hearts of Oak.
As you said, he's put matters to bed, so I think I also need to pull my blanket and sleep.
Right. Right, Michael, right. I got you. So, we'll hold the conversation on the Black Galaxies for now, because the game is on the 16th. Kelvin, if am I right? It's on the 16th of December. Yes. So we'll hold on. We'll hold on with all the talk around the squad and see what happens. In the lead up to the game, just a few days to the game, or on the match day proper. We'll get into a bit of analysis on that. But there's a little matter of Accra Hearts of Oak to discuss, because
it's not a little matter. It's a big issue. It's not a little matter. It's a big issue.
Well, Hearts of Oak are in the news, and if you checked a lot of the portals today, there's a report, there's a story of Hamza Issa, the Hearts of Oak player, who has begun steps to terminate his contract with the club. According to reports, according to his representatives, the player hasn't been paid the agreed upon salary for the past 3 months, and that's what we've been told. Again, on the field, Hearts of Oak have been struggling to, get the job done, as you would expect them to. So we'll get into the matter of Hearts of Oak in a bit. We have Kwame Opariado on the line. He's the communications director of Accra Hearts of Oak. We'll speak to him and pick his thoughts on a few of these issues. Kwame, it's been a while. Good morning to you and welcome to Sporty Breakfast.
Good morning, brother.
Well, how is Accra Hearts of Oak? How are things at Accra Hearts of Oak at the moment?
Well, everything is going on very well. It's very unfortunate that our last 2 matches were kicked out of the FA Cup, and then we're also not able to win in Tamale against Karela. But all the same, these are lessons that we have to learn, and then it was something that be extra careful going forward for the rest of the games.
Now, what is the reason behind Hearts of Oak's decline in the last few games? What's accounted for the struggles? Because you are playing a second division side in the FA Cup round of 64. You are getting kicked out. You travel to Tamale and results are not as you would expect. What's the reason for Hearts of Oak's sudden decline or sudden slump? Let me put it that way.
Well, in football, you do your best, you prepare, you map up your strategy, and based on the strength of the opponent or what you expect your squad to be able to produce. But if you go out there and it doesn't work, then it means that you have to rethink your strategy as well. I don't want to go into areas that because we have over 10 players on the list. Yes, somebody say is a factor, but you can also. Somebody can also argue from the other angle that even if you don't have 10 players, you have some other players in the squad too. Then it means that when opportunity is given to every player, you must be able to grab it and grab it very well. You understand? Without putting blame on any player or any individual. Let's use Solomon Kwesi, for example. When the opportunity was given to him in the absence of Benjamin Asari, we all saw what he has been able to do. So if opportunity is given to any player, that will be the most opportune time for that player to grab it very well and then give the coach the headache in terms of player selection. But then if you are given the opportunity and it doesn't work well, then it means that
there's more work still that has to be done. Nobody has to. No, we are not going to point blames on any individual, but all what we have to do is just to ensure that if you get the opportunity, you have to grab it very well, and then we'll continue to prepare and make sure that the determination and the focus will be much more in terms of
Now, Kwame, let's talk about the decision to move from Accra Sports Stadium to the University of Ghana Sports Stadium. It was a decision that Hearts of Folk took. Can you take us through what occasioned that decision? Why did Hearts of Folk move from Accra Sports Stadium to the Legon Stadium to play their Ghana Premier League matches?
In the first place, before every competition starts, the Football Association, the guidance from club licensing, gives every club the opportunity to select your home venue and the alternative home venue. So we, in our own wisdom, based on several factors, decided to choose the Legon Sports Stadium as our home venue, and then the Accra Sports Stadium as the alternative venue as well. But then before the season started, we were made aware that because of the enhanced safety protocols that the FA had introduced, we needed to do a safe zone at the Legon area before we be able to use that. You remember some time ago, we won a match, and some supporters came into the safe zone and were fined about 20,000 cedis. So we needed to prevent that. Together with the Legon authorities, we had to work on it, make sure that it was done, and also regrass the pitch. So we needed to move to the Accra Sports Stadium, played a couple of games there. Then when the Legon Sports Stadium was completed, everything was secured, we needed to move back to. That was the reason why we went to Accra Sports Stadium, and now we are back to Legon Sports Stadium, and that is where we are going to be until the end of this.
Right. Let's deal with another matter. And this matter has been in the news over the last 24.
No controversial matter. No controversial matter.
Okay. Now, so Kwame, let's go. Hearts of Folk owing their players. Hearts of Folk currently, are you owing players in arrears of in excess of 3 months?
No. December is here to run. If you say we owe players that is running into December, I'll say yes. Because December is here to run. At the end of the period, everything will be paid.
So, how many months' salaries are standing at the club at the moment?
Outstanding. We have December to go. Some companies will pay around 12, 13 for mid-December. But then we will pay at the end of December.
So
it tells me yes.
So players are owed only December salary as we speak?
Not only players, everybody.
Okay. Now, there's this report of Hamza Issa taking steps to terminate his contract because he hasn't been paid for October, September, and November. Is there any truth in this story?
My brother, how is it possible that Samuel Farado will be paid and Hamza is not paid? Or another player will be paid and Hamza is not paid? You understand?
Yeah.
Even if it comes to winning bonuses, they get their winning bonuses on the same day. If player A gets the winning bonus today, possibly because of differences in the bank, then player B might get his in the evening or tomorrow morning. But it doesn't mean that you get your salary or your bonus today and I have to wait until 1 week or 2 months before I get it. So it doesn't work that way.
Okay. So maybe you have not cited this document, but let me refresh your mind, or let me draw your attention to this document. So there's a letter on the letterhead of Pro Sports International. Now, Pro Sports International, we understand, are the agents for the player Hamza Issa. Now, there's a letter dated the 8th of December 2025, and that letter was sent or directed to the CEO of the club, that's Delali Anku Idiama. Now, the letter says termination of contract of employment. Now, let me read this part for you. Our client has advised us that he has not received his contractually agreed monthly salary for a continuous period of 3 months, September, October, November. In terms of his employment contract with the club, he's entitled to a monthly gross salary of 5,000 cedis. Now, the club's persistent failure to honor its financial obligations constitute to continued and material breach of the employment agreement. Have you heard anything or seen anything or actually cited a copy of this letter anywhere in the Hearts of Oak Secretariat?
Yes, I'm not going to lie about this. I've read it on social media and on other platforms as well. But my brother, okay, let me respond to this.
Okay.
In the first place, right? You remember the same person, the same individual that is supposed to be behind the writing of the letter, right? Granted an interview, I think about a week ago or within a week, saying that the club pays Hamza is at 2,000 cities. You remember?
Yes.
Yes, I think 2,000 or 2,500 cities. He mentioned something like that. So, okay. So if you tell me that the player's monthly salary is 2,500 or 2,000, as was mentioned in that earlier interview, how come you turn around again to say that it is 5,000? So which is which? You are contradicting your own stuff. That is number one. Number two, if you write anything on behalf of the player, right, the player will also have to let us understand that it is he that has given you the mandate to write to the club or not. Then the club will be able to respond to you appropriately. That is where we are.
So as we speak, Hearts of Oak do not owe any player salaries for the past 3 months. The only outstanding is the salary for the month of December. That's correct.
Have you in any conversation with any player that any player has said that owed any salary?
No, I have not heard that from any player.
No. The question is not to you. I'm only asking based on the people's speculation. You know that it's even gone as far as some even saying that the players are old and players say they will not go for training. And because of that, they are not going to play the next destination. I'm on my way to the training ground. The guys are in the classroom now. They train the on-pitch training will start at exactly 9 o'clock. When I get there, I will give a call for you to speak to any player, whether they are boycotting or whether they are training or whether they are not training, so that you get to know the truth.
So you know, I just want a yes or no from you, and then we will put this matter to bed. Hearts of Oak players presently are not owed salaries, right? True or false? No. Yes or no? Kwame.
Hello.
Kwame.
Yeah. Hello.
Yes or no?
I can't hear you well.
No, okay, so I'm saying that Hearts of Oak players presently are only owed for the month of December, and there is no outstanding payment due them. That is correct.
No, let's separate the last sentence. If you say outstanding payment, I'm saying let's separate it because sometimes players have engagement fee, what they call signing on fees.
Okay.
Right, and it is spread over a period that it stays. So if you say the players are not owed, that's one. Somebody can take me on and say I am.
So there's
when it comes to
salary arrears.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about.
So there's no player owed salary as we speak.
No.
Very well. Now let's talk about the next transfer window or the mid-season transfer window, because we know the FA yesterday communicated that communicated dates for the mid-season transfer window. Would Hearts of Oak be able to sign new players?
Depending on the suggestion or the comment from the head coach. He is the head of the technical team. So if he tells the manager, he tells the board that you need 1 or 2 players to beef up the squad, the management will look at it. He will have to defend why he will need A or B or C, and then be able to work on it.
Now, I'm asking this because there are reports that Hearts of Oak are still yet to adhere to FIFA's orders to pay their former technical director, Raymond, and that could actually force FIFA to trigger a transfer ban. That's what I'm asking. You know, what's the situation with Raymond and his outstanding package? Okay, so I think I lost to Pariado there. We'll be trying to re-establish connection with him in a bit, but he spoke to a few of the issues, and I just needed to understand if Hearts of Oak were going to serve a transfer ban or not, because the issues of Raymond Hiddink still persist. Kwame, thanks for joining us again.
Yes,
Yes, my final question was on Raymond Hiddink. What's the situation with Raymond Hiddink and his outstanding remuneration that he's still demanding from Hearts of Oak?
Yeah, what is what?
The situation with Raymond Hiddink, the former technical director, who, took Hearts to FIFA, and FIFA in effect ordered Hearts of Oak to settle all our standings with him. And have you made payment to Raymond Hiddink to actually put that matter to bed?
Well, what I can say about this is that the issue is before the court. We met the court last week, and then we'll visit the court again, I think, somewhere next week. So when we go to court, whatever that decision, I'll let you know.
Now, I'm asking this because, according to reports, if Hearts of Oak fail to honor this payment, you could be incurring a transfer ban. And that's why I'm asking if any of this could affect you possibly signing players mid-season.
Well, that's what I'm saying. The issue is before a court in Nyamador. We looked at the court about 2 weeks ago. Going back to the court, whatever their final outcome, I'll let you know.
Right. Now, going into the weekend, Hearts of Oak definitely would have a game to play in the Ghana Premier League. What are expectations of Hearts of Oak for Hearts of Oak's upcoming game?
I couldn't hear the earlier part of the question.
No,
the line is breaking.
Okay, let me take it again. So, Hearts of Oak would be playing this weekend. They have a very tricky tie against Nations FC. What are your expectations of that game? Are we going to see Hearts of Oak return to winning ways, or Nations FC could do a job over Hearts of Oak back home in here?
We all know that it will so much be unlike Hearts of Oak to go to the matches without winning. So whatever it represents is that we all understand the nature of the game, and we all know the magnitude of it. We only have to work very well and make sure that the opportunity is make sure that we bounce back and put a smile on the faces of every weekend. The game is on Saturday afternoon at 4 p.m. at the Legon Sports Stadium.
We wish you well, Kwame, and hopefully we'll catch up with you on all the other matches that would be coming up in the camp of Hearts of Oak. Have a good day.
Thank you very much.
Right.
Thank you.
That was Kwame Opariado, the communications director of Accra Hearts of Oak. We apologize to listeners. It was quite a dodgy line, but we still managed to get a few thoughts from him. And so hopefully we'll try to get into a bit of what he said and try to make sense of a few of the answers he provided. Let me go to Michael. Michael, I'm sure you have followed the conversation around the outstanding payments or the salary arrears of Hearts of Oak players and all. Kwame Opariado says, as we speak, no player is owed salary.
It's quite surprising. I don't know when they cleared the salary arrears, but something that's been admitted in private conversations between the coaching department, some of the players and all that. So I don't know. A lot can happen in the space of some hours or days. So I don't know when that issue was put to bed, but I think it was actually an issue last week. A lot of talk around it. Some players expressing concerns and all that. But maybe the club's hierarchy has rushed to cater for that. Saturday is no longer an issue as it stands now. Just hope and pray that they will start showing positive results, because this had been happening right from the start of the season. The situation was like that, but there wasn't much of an issue when as we're getting positive results. It already started becoming an issue when it dragged for long, and then to an extent, they went out of the FA Cup, and then they also lost the Premier League. So losing back-to-back games kind of escalated things. But as the club's official spokesperson has said, they don't owe players salaries as it stands now, as at the time that he is speaking. Players are not owed salaries. And I think we need to allow it be at that stage. I am much more disappointed in how the issue traveled, because I think as a pro footballer, and you would choose not to play or decide against playing well, all because you are owed salaries, I think that is a very bad thing to do. And no professional footballer should be doing. But I think the best outlet to some form of solutions from will likely be either through the players' own management or through the Professional Footballers Association of Ghana. And it is because this is the body responsible for player welfare and issues like this. So you only escalate the matter to the appropriate quarters so they deal with it. And as a footballer, you just keep quiet and do your job. I hate it when players hide behind dressing room politics to work against a club or a coach. I don't subscribe to that kind of attitude. If you feel the club's treatment towards you and your teammate is not the best, there is a way to address it. There is a certain quarters where you should direct your concerns or your grievances to. So if you have not been paid, you need to constantly notify the club about this. And that is through your management. You inform them, and then they officially notify the club about this condition. If it goes like 3 times and nothing has been done, you escalate it to the PFAG, or to the extreme, you can even take them to the player welfare, player status committee of the Ghana Football Association. You can go there and then seek a way out.
Michael, hold your thought for me. Let me get something clear. The player Hamza Issa, who has been reported in public to have initiated steps to terminate his contract, are there any issues between the player and the club?
I don't think there is an issue, to the best of my knowledge. What I know, and I don't even want to believe what is going on in the media circles. You see, at times these player management, what they do is that they leak information to the public, try to stir things up, and then in private, between the engagements with the club, it will be a different story altogether. So I have seen this countless times where players and their agents or their managers will rush to the media with their own narrative. They will rush to the media with their own story to sell. And then the media propagates it, goes at every length to make sure that everybody becomes aware of this development. The next you realize, the player and the club are having different conversations. Players go meet club management, have different negotiation talks with them, and then they present a different story to the outside. So when it comes to these matters, sorry, I might be biased, but I don't trust players and their management. I don't trust them one bit because they are very, I want to use the right word, that they are very cunning characters. In dealing with them, I have dealt with a lot of these people. They are very cunning characters, and they only operate to the best of their interests. It is what will satisfy their interests first. I have seen a player give me certain piece of information about certain contract talks. Meanwhile, the same player met the management of a club and could not even negotiate better his salary. It was whatever the club offered him, and it was like he was shaking. Oh, okay, no problem, we will take it. It came out, listened to words from other people, and they presented a different story, all in a bid to get the club to raise their offer. So I don't trust players and their management when it comes to this. Honestly, I don't. And then again, for Hamza Issa, if you want to terminate your contract, you want to go about this, I think the appropriate quarters to do this. If you study the rule book, as per how football is governed here in the country, if not be paid for 3 months, yes, you can escalate affairs beyond the club, the player status committee of the Ghana Football Association. You can also go to the PFAG. Then they will address these issues proper. So why is it that there is a document that has been leaked to the public to study? At times, we need to speak to some of these people to do things right. We never see this in other jurisdictions. And always we want our game to progress. We want our game to be the best. I'm not saying if it does exist so that House of Folk hadn't paid Hamza Issa for 3 months, it was the best. No, it wasn't the best. But in trying to address your issues or your concerns or your grievances, you must go through the appropriate channels. And that is what most of these players and their management don't do. If you leak it to the public, does it solve the issue? That is the first thing. Again, you are tainting your own reputation and then also tainting the image of the club. And like every big club, there is a phase that one club will have to pass through. financial difficulties and all that. All these things are bound to happen, even in jurisdictions where it is perceived that economically everything is okay. Players, clubs can go through serious financial situations where they will have to try and then manage affairs. They will go through a period where players have not been paid as they are supposed to be paid. All these things happen. But you would have to look at the bigger picture. And the bigger picture is you have a career. If you think you can't continually play for the club, go to the FA with your documents, with your evidence, because you should have served the club notice by then. Okay, after the first month you were not paid, you took it normally. After 2 months you were not paid, as per what they are trying to say. What happened? Did you officially notify the club about this development? Is there any evidence to back it? Second time, did you notify them? Third time, did you notify them? And what was the response of the club? Did they define again
the voice of sports,
sorting out the issues that you raised? If the club was in a nonchalant mode towards you, then you can escalate affairs to the GFA and maybe the PFAG. But in this case, we don't know the correspondence between the player and the club. All of a sudden, there is a document circulating in the public. I think this is bad, an act of bad faith on the part of Hamza Issa. If I was Hasselhoff, I would terminate his contract because he's not even an exceptional player who, if Hasselhoff do away with, they won't get a replacement for. Because this, he's basically blown hot and cold. He's not done anything better for the club. So if you are to put them in this stead, they are trying to drag the club in the mud and then maybe possibly corrupt everything that they have done so far this. As haven't had good form in their first 2 matches. They went out of the FA Cup, they lost in the Premier League, but they are still in contention. And if they're able to right their wrongs and address the needs of the team, I think they'll be good to go. But why does a player choose, together with his management, to throw the club into a situation like this? It is very unnecessary. And I will not drag the player and his management.
Right. That's Michael Asari-Wedu there. Some strong words for Hamza Issa and his management team. Clearly, Michael is not satisfied with their approach to dealing with this issue, if indeed there was any issue at all. They wrote a letter dated December 8, 2025, demanding 3 months salary arrears from the management of Hearts of Folk. Mike Opariado has told us clearly that Hearts of Folk do not owe any player salaries. The only salary that they would have to pay is salary for the month of December. So we'll see how that story develops. Would bring you a lot more insight as and when we get new updates. But let's quickly shift focus to the UEFA Champions League. In Kumasi, this is Ghana's #1 sports morning show, the Sporty Breakfast. And last night in the UEFA Champions League, league phase match day 6, Kairat Almaty were beaten at home by Olympiacos 1-0. Olympiacos won that game. Bayern Munich defeated Sporting CP by 3-1. At the New Balance Stadium in Bergamo, Atalanta defeated Chelsea by 2-1. At Camp Nou, Barcelona came from a goal down to beat Eintracht Frankfurt by 2-1, thanks to 2 goals from Jules Koundé. Monaco defeated Galatasaray by 1-0. Atletico Madrid beat PSV Eindhoven by 3-2. Olympique Marseille also defeated Union Saint-Gilloise by 3-2. Mohamed Kudus scored his first Champions League goal for Tottenham Hotspur as they beat Slavia Prague by 3-0. Mohamed Kudus scored the second goal via the penalty spot. And Liverpool traveled to Stadio Giuseppe Meazza to defeat Inter Milan by a 1-0 thanks to a late Szoboszlai penalty. So this is how last night went as far as the UEFA Champions League is concerned. But our focus will be on two games. The game between Chelsea and Atalanta. And of course, Inter Milan and Liverpool. Kelvin, let me start with you. Nobody saw this coming. It was almost like Liverpool were going to suffer yet another defeat in the Champions League, especially looking at the form of Inter Milan. Inter Milan had gone on quite a ruthless run since losing their last game in the Champions League. They had gone to win games in convincing fashions. Did that result surprise you?
Well, it did not really surprise me, but I was expecting Liverpool to bounce, to get together result, at least a point from this game. Inter did their very best, but they had to take one silly decision from a centre-back to cost them that penalty that eventually got them off. You could see Liverpool were eager to make a statement, and I'm sure, the players themselves, wanted to make a statement, judging from what had happened, that, yes, we still have to do our best, pick up the pieces and get back, even without our talisman, because there had been divided views over the Mohamed Salah issue, whether it's the club at fault, whether it's the player at fault. Yesterday's game, you can still clearly see that Inter Milan are also too beatable. They are easy to just exactly figure out, and then their midfield broken. As soon as Çalhanoğlu got that injury and then he was just walking off the pitch, I told myself, this is a game for Liverpool to lose unless Lautaro Martinez and the likes pick up the piece. And Liverpool have, one of the top shot stoppers, Alisson Becker. His saves alone was enough to keep Liverpool in the game. And then Jan Sommer on the other side, even though they were dries from range, and then he saved them. The one from Alisson Becker, that Lautaro Martinez header, that could have probably given Inter that edge. Was what actually helped them. So it was more of like, let's play that game with a spirited approach and get the results. Now I look at Kivu's team and I'm not seeing glimpses of DiMarco being very much influential in the team. And yesterday, unfortunately for them, they also got an injury. Achebi, 2 forced substitutions. And you would ask yourself, these are regulars who play in there. And one thing you cannot take away is Achebi's ability to help build up from defense. He has that quality. And once he gets missing, and then Çalhanoğlu has to drop in and help, and he's also missing, then the mantle falls on Henrik Mkhitaryan. Lautaro Martinez had to come and Thuram, not the most flamboyant player, not very, very rigid. And he favored the Liverpool central defense. So I think it was just going to be a draw until that, silly decision from Bastoni came, and then the referee had to just, point to the penalty and give that, because at any point in time, that wasn't even a dangerous opportunity for him to even, pull the player back. He had already won the ball. So I was like, come on, the guy's back is against the post. Why do you get involved? This is a good boost for Liverpool, judging from the position that they were. Inter were already in a good place because they were up in the top 8. Now Liverpool were the ones who were in a bit of difficulty, and then they needed this result quite well to get back into the Champions League and see if they can qualify automatically. I think that it was a good victory for them. Konate, yes, yesterday, once again, making sure that, he played his heart out, but, I think that Ancelot knows that there is something still missing from his team. He might have bought a Kitike, Ishak, and then Vet, but there's still something missing from his team. He's still struggling to put together the team and get the best result. But I asked myself, and I asked many others, why is it that coaches force themselves to play, with makeshifts when they have adapt players in there? Yesterday, I'm not sure anyone who saw Joe Gomez play will say that he was bad. He wasn't bad. If you are playing against DiMarco, he's very much troublesome, and Marcus Thuram, and at times Henrik Mkhitaryan, who will preach from the left-hand side, and with what we saw from him, it was very much important. But I think that Liverpool, this is good riddance for them, and hopefully they build on this, because it's getting difficult for them. The Salah issue is not going to end soon.
But so I was coming to that. Where does this leave Mohamed Salah? Because clearly, part of the reasons why he's been left on the bench in recent games is that Arne Slot is trying to figure out how he can play differently.
Yeah.
And get some of his best players to perform, or his new boys to perform, in the absence of Mohamed Salah.
I think it's about the
now, with all of these happening, Liverpool traveling to Italy to get a very good win, where do we put Mohamed Salah in all of this? Does he walk back into that team anytime soon, or he should just prepare to stay more on the bench? And this rant that he went on, or this interview that he had, has he played his final game for Liverpool? Is he on his way out?
I'm not sure he's played his final game for Liverpool. He's going to come on, you know. He's going to play. And let's not forget, he has a few days and then he will report for the AFCON. After this weekend, he has the opportunity to report for the African Nations Cup, which means that sort of MAT, that sort of, rough path that he and the club are going on will be off for some time. And he can have that opportunity to refresh himself from the Nations Cup and then get back, finish the season. I think what he wants to do is that at the end of the season, looking at the offers coming from the Gulf region and from the US and other parts of Europe, he will be considering it. He's considering it. I've done my best for Liverpool. I've done my bit. I am realizing that the coach wants to, build the team and center it around someone else. It's not me, and it's affecting me. I'm not getting, the very best. And let's not forget, his age. Salah is aging. He should consider that, yes, at his age, whether he likes it or not, his pace, his power, his intelligence, his overall, intensity is going to drop. So he should just move on to a league that requires that drop of intensity, which may be higher there, but not in the Premier League, and go and play there. I think it's early days yet. Let's see. He may totally have a different, demeanor after this weekend, and then maybe after the Africa Cup of Nations. But I strongly think that interview that he engaged in was just to force his way through. And if you listen to the likes of Thierry Henry, and he says, when the team is struggling, it's not just you. Yeah. Let's not forget, it's not like the team is winning and then you are on the bench and you are not being allowed to play. The team itself is struggling. So how then do you just be selfish and focus on yourself? It was just bang out of order. And I think that Liverpool should also understand the kind of player he is. I'm sure Liverpool know that Mohamed Salah is a figure who is always... He had this with Jurgen Klopp, let's not forget. Yeah. He's a figure who doesn't want to sit on the bench. He's very much competitive. He always wants to play. And it is quite understandable. But he should also learn the manner in which he approaches the issue, as well as Liverpool, knowing that this is a player who has egos, he has this. You should know how to handle him. Mario Balotelli was handled. Yeah. Jose Mourinho knew how to handle some of his big boys. Carlo Ancelotti knows how to handle some of his big boys. When Mbappe started his mess, and then, before the 2022 World Cup, Didier Deschamps and the likes knew exactly how they wanted to handle him, and they handled him to get the very best out of it. I'm sure every team has a player who works that way, but it behoves on the manager. There are times I say this and people don't like it. When you bring managers from academy backgrounds, fine, they may want to instill discipline, but they forget that there are some senior figures who have egos and it must be respected.
Yeah, they need a bit of pampering.
Exactly. You saw how Ten Hag failed. Yeah. Alonso is facing the same problem. When he went to Bayer Leverkusen, if you are coaching Jonathan Tah, Tapsoba, Jeremy Frimpong, and the likes, you bring Granit Xhaka from... Because I am Alonso. But you come to Real Madrid, there's Mbappe.
Vinicius and there's
Vinicius.
You need to manage
exactly. You need a different approach. Even Rudiger is troublesome. So you need a different approach in handling some of these issues. And I'm sure he will learn it. It's either one of them leaves. It's more like when Arteta picked up Arsenal. Between himself, Aubameyang, Lacazette, it's either one of them decides to leave the team or not.
Most of the time, we've seen players leave.
The players will leave.
And coaches stay.
Exactly.
We've seen coaches
especially when you are dispensable. Yeah. And most
Ronaldo, Ten Hag.
Most exactly. They felt Ronaldo, come on, you are aging. How many years can you give us for us to sacrifice a manager who we think that will build up for us? No, everyone knows. You watch Liverpool this season and you know that what they want to do is to now play and suit certain players and not Mohamed Salah.
Absolutely.
So he's also trying his way out. But I think that both parties must come to, consensus how they are going to get the best out of each other before the season finally ends, and then they can discuss whether Salah is leaving or staying, or how Liverpool will deal with it, or how Salah will deal with it going forward. But it's good victory for Liverpool. But Kivu, you should start thinking about whether he's going to stay at Inter for long or not, because if you are not performing overwhelmingly well, matching up with what Inzaghi gave them, and then also you're also struggling, or things in the Champions League are getting a bit off for you. His overall team play seems to be a bit questionable, though it's just this season he started from the Club World Cup. But I still think that there's something missing from this Inter team, because if you look at the players that they have and then the kind of results, at times they choke, and even their overall play is not impressive.
Let me bring in Michael. And Michael, you had your say on Mohamed Salah quite briefly, but let me ask you this. If you are Mohamed Salah, you are watching Liverpool play against Inter Milan. Liverpool are doing the job without you. Would you quickly reevaluate your chances? Would you quickly look at your options and say, well, do I still want to stay? Do I want to leave? Do I want to stay at a club where I may, at this point, not be as influential like I was 8 seasons ago? I mean, what should Mohamed Salah be doing by now? Should he leave? Should he stay? Have we seen Salah play his last game for Liverpool already? I mean, let's go through this Mohamed Salah issue and see where he sits now with this Liverpool club.
Well, I think it's Salah's fear of what the future might hold that led him to do that interview in the first place. He was a bit uneasy, and for once he felt the club had the materials that could actually cope in his absence. And any big star, when they feel uneasy due to their ego, would like to prick the fruit and see what happens. They'll want to try and then throw something into the mix or the picture and see the response. And I think for Salah, if he has advisors, the response that has come from Liverpool is very indicative that they are willing to move on from him. And if I was advising him, I would tell him the sooner he exits the club, the better it will be, because his interview, no matter how much of an incendiary nature it was, it has not changed basically his status. It looks like the club is willing to take a gamble with the manager, allow him to do things his own way. If it does not work, they will move the manager on. But I don't think Liverpool will discard whatever project they want to embark on, judging by the signings they made, all because of Mohamed Salah, or because results are not working. They can't sell Isak back. They can't return Florian Wirtz. They can't return Ekitike. So they'll try to find something that works. And in doing that, Salah would definitely be affected by that process. And he's not willing to budge. He's not willing to understand that this is how my role would need to diminish. I will need to play a bit part through. And in that situation, I think he leaving Liverpool will likely be the best option for the player. And then it will also help Liverpool. And I said this because the ultimate winner in every picture is Liverpool. Salah now has a 2-year contract. It means, unlike last season in the closing stages, where he could have left for free, now, if he has to leave Liverpool, it has to be for a fee. So Liverpool will be taking something as a result of Salah leaving, which is a win for them. Again, they get to focus on the major signings they made, who will play a crucial part in the new Liverpool. They would have to involve them now and plan together with them without having to worry about Salah throwing tantrums or relegating the role of Salah from a starter to more of a bench warmer or an impact substitute player, sort of. So I think it helps Liverpool more, because everything that Slot is doing, yes, they got a win against Inter Milan, but I want to see it more of an aberration than Liverpool realizing success and that whatever thing that Slot is doing has actually worked. No, far from that. They would need more consistency to actually show that, yep, whatever thing that Slot want to do will work and it is the way forward. So even for Slot, I fear for his future. So it could eventually pan out that both Slot and Salah will leave Liverpool. But these players will remain, the club will remain, and they'll always try to build on towards success. So I don't see a future at Liverpool for Salah beyond this episode, clearly. And as you rightly said, the game against Brighton, he will want to use that opportunity together with his family to say goodbye to the fans at Anfield. And no player will want to leave for the AFCON and do this. I don't know if it is a practice Salah has been embarking on, but this signals more of a final goodbye than, okay, I'm leaving momentarily, I'm going to the AFCON, and then I'll be back after the AFCON to continue. I think the relationship between the player and the club has gotten to that stage. And then the relationship between the player and the manager can only be ameliorated when he goes public and apologizes to the manager. And knowing Salah, for the player that he is, he has a bit of an ego. And I don't think he will be in a position to want to willingly apologize to the manager in public. The worst or the best he can do perhaps will be to instruct his agents or his management to issue a public statement and bring it out. So yes, it is more of Salah out than Salah in my opinion.
Michael, let's talk about another team that's been struggling, Chelsea Football Club. Let's do this in 3 minutes. What's the challenge with Chelsea at the moment? Because since their last victory over Barcelona, they've gone 4 games without a win. They've lost twice and they've drawn 2 games. What seems to be the challenge with Enzo Maresca and his charges at the moment?
I think one thing tactically astute managers is there comes a time where they want to try too many things at the same time, and it kind of affects the basics, because there are coaching basics and principles which must not really override any tactical invention or innovation. In the case of Maresca, he seems to favor more of invention than principles. For instance, yesterday in the game, he had 2 right backs on, and all right backs were playing in the midfield when Chelsea were lacking a competent right fullback. Again, at a point in time, in a certain phase, the 3 natural fullbacks, Cucurella, Gusto, Reece James, were all playing from the middle. So I think that, yes, Maresca is a brilliant manager, but he tries too many things at a point in time that it affects the rhythm and the momentum the team has built. And that becomes a problem. For instance, yesterday in the game, I don't think Wesley Fofana should have played a part. Like it happened to Cucurella in the Arsenal game, where he had a yellow card at the early stages. And then they had to make sure he coped with it until the end of the game. They should have done the same with Chalobah. After that card, just talk to the player to manage affairs. But if you decide to sub him off and bring on Fofana, who doesn't really have a pleasant injury record, it means we're exposing him to a risk he's not ready for. And clearly, that is what happened. Then you are forced to make a change you're not willing to do in bringing on Tosin Adarabioyo. And I think every Chelsea fan has grown tired of Tosin and his inefficiencies. And so the moment he came on, I want to believe a lot of the Chelsea fans felt the game is done. We are not going to get any positive result. Even if we escape with a draw, that is okay. And you can look at the part Tosin played in the second goal that Chelsea conceded. So I think, yes, Maresca is not helping matters, but the biggest reality in all this is that this Chelsea team is not where most fans expect them to be yet. Because to win games consistently, you need character. And Chelsea have not forged that character yet. Yes, they have developed a certain character for playing big matches. But to be very consistent and win games week in, week out, or every 3 days. Maresca himself said it, that they are struggling now to get the team together to play consistently every other 2 days to get the results that they want. And it is something that they will have to grapple with from now till maybe a year or 2. Then we can come to understand that this team has come complete circle or come full circle, and that they are where they expect to be. You don't just build character in your second season as a rookie coach, because the coach himself will need to develop, and they will need to add some experience to what he knows. So it's the knowledge plus the experience that will build the character in terms of the manager. And it is the quality plus the experience that will forge the character in terms of the team. And Club Chelsea is not there yet. So now they will be able to do very well in some big games, but in the other games, it will be much more like opportunity knocking. And at that moment, Chelsea failing to find the answers. And that is clearly what we are seeing. When the big games come to town, these players will show up. But when it's the normal trend, definitely Chelsea will be like a light switch. They will turn on and off as and when. And they will find that word consistency in their play and their performance.
Right. There are still lots of games to look forward to in the Champions League today. There's a European heavyweight clash tonight. Real Madrid and Manchester City will be preparing for their 15th clash. Clearly has other subplots, especially the issue of Xabi Alonso. Has it gone all wrong for Xabi Alonso at Real Madrid? And why can't he seem to be getting the kind of performances and getting the kind of results he used to get at Bayer Leverkusen at Real Madrid?
I think it's just like, when I was mentioning, I spoke about the players that he has, how he needs to calm down, and then, let them adjust to him, how he wants things to be done. And I think it's about communication. How you communicate to some of these top lads gives you the performance you want from them. You may come from a team and you think that, the same models, the same model, the same way I spoke, that worked for me, should work here. I just want to take you from what happened with the Black Stars.
Yeah.
When Otto took over in the second time. The players were not cool. Even in his first time, some of the players understood how Chris Hughton handled them, and they wanted that as compared to Otto. That not to say Otto was doing bad, but he felt that the approach that he was using was the best for the team. But no, I think that is what Alonso is suffering from. He's failing to understand and admit that some of these players need special treatment, or they need, certain ways in which you must talk to them or to get the very best out of them. And there are times you must also sacrifice your ideas and how you want the team to play so that it will compromise with also that of what the player wants to and how the player wants to play. It's happened at Real Madrid several times. How Carlo Ancelotti eventually spoke to Kylian Mbappe to understand that he needs to play not from the left-hand side of attack, play more centrally, and then allow Vinicius so the team has, a right mix of that balance. I'm still struggling to understand why, he went to Bayer Leverkusen just quickly. He picked he started picking up and then salvaged them from relegation the following season. Did some wonderful work to win the Bundesliga. Maybe it is time for him to now talk to the players and tell them how much more he needs them. It's not just about the tactical bit. You may deploy all the tactical bits, but when we get on the pitch, we are the players playing. What if we decide not to do it? What would you do? And I think last weekend it was complained that when they went down to 10 and eventually 9, they even played better than the 11.
Yeah.
Why? Because at that time the players did not want to concede much. But when they are there, they think that, oh, this is this person's role, this is this person's role, all because of the attitude of Alonso. Now, I just hope that at the Santiago Bernabeu, which is Real Madrid's fortress, they will be able to beat this Manchester City team. Because if Alonso loses or has a very terrible game, that may probably end in a draw. This could be the last game for him at Real Madrid as coach or as manager.
Ruthless.
Going to be very ruthless. And let's not forget, it's not like they are doing extremely bad. They are 4 points off Barca. But the current chain of results and then the dressing room issues is actually affecting the team.
And according to reports, Vinicius has decided not to extend his contract if Alonso stays on as coach.
Exactly, because he's not comfortable with the coach. He's not comfortable with him as the manager. And this is the 15th time, let's not forget, these two teams are clashing in the Champions League. And many will still want. Is Real Madrid going to be dominant? This is a Manchester City team that is not overwhelmingly good as the teams that they've met. They have issues. In as much as they have issues, they are also picking up because the likes of Ryan Cherki and others have started, picking up the pieces. The magic one has been picked by them. And if they've started causing chaos for teams.
And these are games Pep likes.
Yes, these are games Pep likes. And one thing that I also think that Alonso and Real Madrid did not do well is their recruitment. Especially in defense. They got Hisense. But ask yourself, Arnold, injuries upon injuries. Cavallier's injury suspension. Look at the team. You look at Real Madrid's team and then you still ask yourself, did they really want to? As for free, no. They want free players. They want everyone to be free. Now they've realized that Konate is not going to help them, so they are pulling away a bit. They should forget about Saliba too because he's also extended his contract. They want the freebies, but that wasn't the case of Madrid. They buy and fill into position. There are times they buy like 2 solid players just for one position. And you know that, yes, this is the Real Madrid that we knew. But now ask yourself, in the absence of one player, who comes in to step up and play very well? Rodrigo. Is he coming in to play and play very well? No, it's not the case. And I think it's an amalgamation of issues, right from preseason, right from, his dressing room talk, and even from some of the players who are still struggling to, pick up the pieces. What is happening to Aurelien Tchouameni? Is this the Tchouameni who came to Real Madrid mini West? He seems so off.
Yeah.
And it's quite different. When I watch him in the French national team, you watch him in Real Madrid, you just see a vast difference between how he plays there and how he adapts to to things at Real Madrid. So I just hope Alonso can win this and then he can use that length of time, ahead of him till the end of the season to work out some magic. Because it's the same team that played very well and started the season on a high. What might have happened is the dressing room issues.
Right. Michael, quick thoughts on this one. Real Madrid play against Manchester City tonight. Both teams have been shipping in goals in their last few games. Manchester City conceded as many as 4 against Fulham. We saw Real Madrid concede as many as 3 against Olympiacos last time out in the Champions League. I promise it to be a free-flowing game, but where does this one, who wins this one for you? And with a game that looks very much like it could be Alonso's last, what must he do to avoid defeat in tonight's game?
Well, I think for Xabi Alonso, they could prove very key in proving whether he's been able to affect the minds of the Real Madrid players in the dressing room, especially the big boys. because the rumors in town, everything that has been speculated regarding some concerns raised by some players in there clearly spells out that most of these players are not totally in bed with how the coach wants to operate, and they are not happy. And when it happens like this in games of this nature, the players, one way or the other, give off certain vibes that would expose their relationship with the manager. And I think Alonso today is a very important day for him. If he's able to get the players to finally buy into what he wants to do, and also if he also makes concessions regarding what he requires of these players and allowing some to be, then I think they can find the common ground and then play this game and deliver the result. It is not your typical perfect Manchester City side. Man City, yes, have found form after losing back-to-back games against Leverkusen and then also in the Premier League as well. They've been able to find form. One, there are 3 corresponding games. They've won them. And so they come in here in the best of form, in the best of shape. Phil Foden all of a sudden has started to score goals again, and it looks like he's complementing the efforts of someone like Erling Haaland. But the bigger issue is that as much as Real Madrid have issues, this Manchester City team also are very vulnerable. And any opponent that is worth their salt and has quality in their side will likely exploit the weaknesses that exist in this Manchester City team. And I can go on and mention, I think City now don't have the control they had in times past when they used to dominate competitions on the domestic front and also in the UEFA Champions League. It is not that City again. There's a Manchester City side who will give the opponent an opportunity to also attack them, which was a different version of a Manchester City in times past. Now you can fancy your chances against them. So I think what needs to be right for Xabi Alonso and Real Madrid is not necessarily the tactics. It is the mood, the mindset, the mentality, the approach. If Alonso is able to affect his players positively and the players are willing to commit to the coach and then help their own selves, then I think Man City are in trouble. But if it is going to be the same old Real Madrid I've seen play in recent times, then I beg to differ. They will really suffer against Manchester City. City have quality, take nothing away from them. They are not as solid as a unit as they were in times past. They still have quality, and on their day, they can really hurt you. But I think looking at where the stage is at the Bernabeu. The fans will come in there. They will set the mood. If the players' mood and then their mentality is right for the encounter, I don't think Real Madrid will lose this game. So that is what I am hinging my hopes on, that if Madrid find the right temperament for this game, the right mindset or approach, I think City will be in trouble.
Well,
their strength at home, they should be able to, get one past.
Yes.
That is Ajax, and
we'll recruit you.
But the last time that they met, Ajax traveled to them, in the Europa League, 3-0.
That is not this Ajax.
Okay, well, wait to see. We've seen teams lose when you expect them to win.
Well, BRL will take on FC Copenhagen. Atletico Bilbao will play PSG. Bayer Leverkusen will take on Newcastle United. Benfica, another struggler in the competition, will take on Napoli. Club Brugge would play Arsenal in tonight's game. Arsenal have been solid in the Champions League. Bodo Glimt would travel to the Signal Iduna to take on Borussia Dortmund. Juventus would welcome Paphos. And then big game of the night, Real Madrid versus Manchester City. And let me remind you, the entire Sporty FM team will be at the Hisense showroom inside East Legon. And so that Hisense showroom is off the Lagos Avenue. And so make sure you are with us there today. That's where we are going to have our watch party or our viewing party. So make a date with us. 7 p.m. we start the build-up for the big game between Real Madrid and Manchester City. And like I said, we'll be watching that game together at the Hisense showroom inside East Legon. Well, let me say a big thank you to you, Michael Asarabodi, for joining us on the show this morning. Hopefully tomorrow, we'll be back to talk about everything we witnessed tonight. Thank you for your time, Michael.
Thank you very much, Raymond. And have a wonderful.
Have a good day too, Michael. And Kelvin also